Okay, so when you think of Saudi Arabia, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's two things, right? Oil and just staggering amounts of wealth. But behind that shiny facade, there's a really stark reality. This incredibly rich nation has almost none of nature's most vital resource: water. It's kind of like having a palace made of pure gold, but only a single glass of water to drink. So, how on earth is a nation built on sand planning to conquer its thirst? Well, let's dive in.
It really sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? A country with not a single permanent natural river is now building an artificial one that will literally dwarf the Nile. I mean, it's a project that seems to defy the very laws of nature. So the big question is, where is all this water coming from? And how is this even possible?
Let's just be crystal clear about the scale of the challenge here. We're talking about a landscape that is 98% scorching hot desert with almost zero rain. But here's the crazy part. Instead of water flowing down from mountains, like, it's supposed to, this project is pumping it up mountains. It's an engineering feat that completely flips geography on its head. To really get why Saudi Arabia would even attempt something this audacious, we've got to look back at the crisis that basically forced their hand. See, for decades, they were relying on this hidden treasure, a treasure they were using up way, way too fast. And that treasure was something called fossil water. This is ancient water that's been trapped deep underground for thousands, sometimes millions of years. Now, the crucial thing to understand is that this stuff is non-renewable. It's not like a lake that gets refilled by rain. It's a finite supply. Think of it like a non-rechargeable battery. Once you use it up, it's gone, forever. The real crisis kicked off back in the 1970s. The government had this ambitious plan for the country to grow all of its own wheat. A great idea, right? Well, this dream of self-sufficiency came at a devastating cost. By 2003, farming was gulping down a staggering 85% of the nation's water, just draining those ancient aquifers dry. A few years later, NASA satellites confirmed everyone's worst fears, and they had to shut the whole wheat program down just to save what little water was left. Get your head around this number: 2 trillion liters. That's how much of that precious fossil water was vanishing every single year. At that rate, their non-rechargeable battery was about to die. So a new solution wasn't just a good idea, it was an absolute necessity for survival. So faced with this looming disaster, Saudi Arabia didn't scale back its ambitions. Nope, it scaled them way, way up, launching one of the most incredible engineering projects in human history: a man-made underground river. The numbers behind this whole thing are they're mind-boggling. This network of pipes is going to stretch for 12,000 kilometers. To put that into perspective for you, that's long enough to go from New York to Los Angeles and back twice. And the amount of water it'll move is just as insane. The system is designed to transport 9.4 billion liters of fresh water every single day. We're not talking about a trickle here. This is a raging torrent, all manufactured and moved completely underground. And if you're still trying to wrap your head around the scale, just look at this comparison. At 12,000 kilometers, this artificial river network is nearly twice as long as the most famous river on the planet, the Nile. It is truly an engineering marvel on a global scale. So this is about way more than just providing drinking water. Building it underground is genius because it prevents evaporation in that blistering heat. It's about reviving that dream of growing their own food, getting fresh water to remote cities, and at its core, creating a sustainable, basically unlimited source of water to build a future that doesn't just run on oil. So that brings us back to this central mystery. Where does all the water come from? Well, the answer lies in the massive seas on either side of the country, the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, and some incredible technology that can turn salty seawater into pure fresh water. Okay, so one method they use is called multi-stage flash distillation. The concept is actually pretty simple. You boil seawater to create steam, which leaves the salt behind, and then you collect that steam and cool it back down into pure water. But just imagine doing this in facilities with steel tanks the size of football stadiums. The scale is just off the charts. The other key technology, which is even more advanced, is reverse osmosis. This is super cool. You use incredibly high pressure to force seawater through this special membrane. And the pores in this membrane are so tiny that nothing, not salt, not minerals, not even a virus can get through. All you get on the other side is perfectly pure water. And get this isn't some pie-in-the-sky plan for the future. This is happening right now. Desalination already provides 2/3 of the entire country's water. It's the absolute cornerstone of their national survival. But, as you might have guessed, creating a literally unlimited supply of water in the middle of a desert, well, it comes with a pretty serious catch. This amazing technological victory has a hidden and very, very heavy environmental price tag. You see, for every liter of fresh water they make, there's a super salty toxic waste product left over called brine. And the amount they produce is just jaw-dropping. 329,000 tons of it. Every single day. I know, 329,000 tons is hard to picture. So think of it like this. That's the equivalent of dumping the weight of more than 1,600 blue whales, the heaviest animal on Earth, back into the ocean every day. This super salty, superheated brine creates these massive dead zones in the sea, which suffocates coral reefs and threatens the whole coastal ecosystem. So what's the solution? Well, engineers are developing these deep-sea diffusers to spread the waste out, which helps. But here's where it gets really clever, something called brine mining. They're figuring out how to extract valuable minerals like lithium and magnesium from the waste. This could turn a huge pollutant into a profitable new resource, solving one problem by creating a whole new industry. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, this project is so much more than just pipes and water, you know? It's really a statement about the future, a vision that's built on technological brilliance and just pure national will. Of course, there's another cost. The energy required to pump all this water uphill is absolutely immense. The pumping stations alone eat up a massive 9% of the entire country's electricity. But hey, that's the price you pay to make rivers flow backwards. Ultimately, this underground river is a declaration to the rest of the world. It's sending a message that even a challenge as fundamental as water scarcity can be met, and it can be overcome if you have enough technology and enough determination. And the ambition is crystal clear. The goal is to meet 100% of the nation's water needs this way by the year 2030. And in what has to be the most stunning plot twist, the country with no rivers is all set to host the World Water Forum in 2027, positioning itself as a global leader in solving the very problem it was born with. It's an absolutely incredible story of human ingenuity. It proves that technology can engineer solutions to some of our planet's biggest challenges. But it also leaves us with this one really critical question. As we keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible, what is the true environmental and energy price that we're willing to pay for progress?